Hi, I'm Alice Hoffmann, an indie comic artist from Austria. Today it's time for the promised redraw of my old Cherry Blossoms ACEO. As much as I like it, there are a few new things to try with the basic idea. Let's see how it will turn out. My preference for working with ACEO size is to cut the end format right at the beginning. I like using a cutter knife and a ruler for that, as cutting with a scissor will usually end up at least slightly uneven. The picky way I am, I would look at the tiny imperfection every single time and be annoyed. So in a way this is self-care, I suppose. As for the composition, I didn't love that the character was mildly off-center without any purpose behind that decision. That's the first thing I fixed. Considering that she looks at the cherry tree, it made more sense for me to have her be in the bird's eye view instead of a normal straight-on perspective. It's more challenging, but also more rewarding once you get it done. I wanted to put focus on her emotion seeing the pretty flowers. One way to do that is to increase the intensity of the facial expression. Just be careful not to overdo it, as it can become unintentionally funny at some point. Another way to make the emotion clearer is posing the character's arms and hands in a suitable manner. This can quickly elevate the piece in my opinion. The image reminds me of the time we were in Japan some years ago. It was actually autumn, but we got to see one faintly blossoming cherry tree at Himeji Castle. That was a pleasant surprise. By the way, even though springtime in Japan is quite hyped up because of the cherry blossoms, I think it's just as marvelously beautiful in autumn. The temperatures were sometimes surprisingly hot in some cities we visited, so I have no idea how the country doesn't just flat out collapse in summer. Anyway, here's hoping that it will be possible to visit Japan once again. Soon-ish. It can be challenging to fit in many details in that format. My tips for that are using a hard pencil or at least a mechanical one and doing the line art with a 0.05 or even 0.03mm fine liner. Alternatively, you might enjoy working with a fine Japanese maru pen. Personally, I use traditional dip pens only rarely, as I want to avoid the ink possibly spilling over and creating an irreversible mistake. Pen lines do have beautiful characteristics though. Oh well. For the colors, I tried to get in more atmosphere with brighter highlighted areas. It's also fun to draw timeless, traditional Japanese patterns. Thanks to the new composition, there's some space for that. I love coloring with Copic markers. They are pricey, but they do their job so well. You can blend pretty much any colors that are close enough in brightness and tone. You usually need to be quick with them, as the ink dries soon. This is why I hold my markers in a funny way when I intend to blend certain areas. All in all, this is the new result compared to the old version. It took more effort to turn the new ideas into reality, but I'd say it was worth the progress. In the end, even though the ACEO format is tiny enough for the smallest envelope size, I probably still paid a proud amount of shipping fees back in the day. I traded quite a few of those little rectangles. But honestly, if I'm ever getting bored with life, this might be a hobby I'd consider coming back to. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's still a bit early for cherry blossoms, but perhaps you'll get to see something else that's equally enjoyable in your life. Have a great day. Bye!